Good morning, students. How you guys doing? How's everyone at home? I hope you guys are keeping safe. Please make sure you keep safe even at this point in time, and make sure you use your hand sanitizer every now and then. Okay, wash your hands every time. Okay. All right. About your tests, most of you actually performed very well, which I think I need to give a round of applause to some of you who actually scored 2020. That's a plus for you. I'm actually proud of you. Actually proud of every one of you who actually attempted the test. And for those of you who couldn't score up to 2020, that tells you need to keep working harder, you need to keep improving on yourself. And whenever you're about to attempt a particular test online, make sure you prepare very hard before you attempt the test. Okay. Now, before the test, the videos we stopped at week 6, where we're talking about UDHR. And now let me tell you guys, I told you in one of the videos when I was treating the text articles of VDHR. I haven't read it out to you, I haven't shown you on the screen. I told you guys to make an audio, that is voice notes of you memorizing it. Like I expected that you must have read it, memorize it. At least you should be able to know at least 20, worst come to worst, at least 15, to be able to do the audio of the voice notes to my WhatsApp number, which I call out for every one of you on that video. Until now, I've not seen any voice notes. That tells me that you guys did not read it, or you guys did not take the activity as serious, and you know what I can do. Okay, well, it's up to you. Now, if you check your scheme of work for week 7, what you are meant to have is the project work. What do I say? Project work. And I'm going to be doing some explanation about how the project work will be done. Okay. Now, so right now, the number the major thing was supposed to be that the number one there, by us locating and visiting government agencies concerned with UDHR. And you know what UDHR is? Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And if not for the fact that we can't be able to see ourselves physically now, we can't gather as a group, we can't gather as a school, would have gone there, because there's a particular one, that is National Human Rights Commission, GRE Ikeja there. What we could have done is to visit them over there, and there a lot of lectures will be given on human rights. And aside from that, materials will be given, videos, we'll see videos about human rights, how people protested, how human rights started, and all this will be shown to us, and will be much more exposed and educated more about human rights. And as a result of that, you will be able to have a very good project based on the outing. But due to this pandemic that we find ourselves right now, we can't be able to go to such an excursion and outing. So what we're going to do now, I've been able to bring out some certain questions or instructions that will guide you in attempting your project work. So we check from number 2 to number 5. That is what you're going to do. Don't worry, I'm going to explain how to go about it. Okay, so just pay attention right now. Now, from number 2, what you do right now, since we couldn't go to National Human Rights Commission, what you do, thank God you all have internet. Just browse through the internet to locate world agencies for the protection of human rights and child rights. That is, you look out for agencies, either government agencies or non-governmental agencies. I want to talk about non-governmental agencies. We're talking about agencies owned by an individual or group of people that is being set up for the protection of human rights and child rights. So you search for it. At least I'm expecting you to be able to bring out at least 10 all over the world. At least no matter the country, all over the world, you must be able to bring out 10 agencies for the protection of human rights. Mind you, we have over 1,000 agencies who are being set up for the protection of human rights and child rights. So that tells you you have enough materials online. So you should, but at least 10. I want 10, and each of these agencies actually have their aims and objectives. So make sure you under each of the agencies you highlight the aims and objectives. After the aims and objective of each, you're also going to outline the achievements so far. That is, since the day it has been founded, you are like some you might not actually deal with all the achievement of such an organization, but at least some of the achievement, then some of them have some certain focus of human rights. Some may actually be for child right, maybe little girl child. Some might generalize on all the human rights that we're talking about here, and while some might just be talking about the slave trade or the slavery issue, torture and all that. So all these you are going to state it under each agencies, because all the agencies, if you sort internet very well, you see their aims and objective, the achievements so far, and likewise their focus or their vision. So all this, that's how you're going to be attempting this um, project work. So that's how you're going to do number two. Then number three, now you now bring your surfing, that is your browsing to Nigeria alone. You base your research on Nigeria alone right now. So which means you're going to browse through the internet to locate Nigerian agencies for the protection of human rights and child rights. Here I'm expecting 5 agencies. I've told you the world at least you'll be able to get 10. In Nigeria, you should at least 5. We have over 100 agencies in Nigeria. So either governmental agencies or NGO, that is non-governmental organizations. So you can do maybe 3 governmental agencies and 2 NGOs, whichever one that suits you. And you are actually going to follow the same process. That is, each of the agencies or organizations, you are going to highlight their aims and objectives. Then after the aims and objectives, their achievements so far, and also if they have a specific right which they defend or they have been working set up to protect. So you're going to highlight that also there. And the fourth one, you're going to limit your findings to Lagos State. That is, Lagos State agencies that are in Lagos State which have been set up for the protection of human rights and child rights. And in Lagos State, I expect just 2. So you can make it 1 governmental agency and 1 NGO. So under these 2 also, you highlight the aims and the objectives, the achievements so far, and their specific vision or their target of human rights which they protect. Then the 5th one, you need to surf the internet. Lagos State has child rights act. I said child rights act. We have such in Lagos State. So you're going to search internet and bring this document out, polish it, fine tune it, add your own flesh to it, and make it your own. Okay. So having done with all this, it's going to be typed. Okay. You need to type this document, and you need to have the front page like normal one we used to do in class. Make your front page where you have the school name, your own name, your class, the subject, the topic, the name of the teacher, and every other thing that needs to be in the front page. Okay, so you print it out, and what you do, because I know some of you might be waiting, maybe when it's about a week for us to resume, you might now want to do that. But what you have to do for me now is that I haven't done the printing. Just place it somewhere visible. Place your phone on it, snap it, and send it to my WhatsApp number. I want to actually know the number of people who will do the assignment. So the project is going to lapse for just 2 weeks from now to 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to finish the project. So by this time, upper week, I'll be expecting the pictures of your project work. So you can send it to my WhatsApp. I'm calling the WhatsApp number again, the same WhatsApp number that you have to send your voice notes for the 30 articles of video chat. So it's the same number. That's the number you're going to send the pictures to. That is 08034215026. Again, 08034215026. Okay, so that is that about your project work. Okay, so please make sure you do it, because without you doing it, it might limit your learning, and it might limit your understanding about human rights, Lagos State, human rights in Nigeria as a whole, and human rights in the whole wide world. That is, it is very much necessary for you to actually pass through this exercise, because it will increase your knowledgeability. Okay, it will increase your understanding on human rights. Now that takes us to the all right. So now, what we are to, according to our scheme, so our week 8 and week 9, we are to look at the topic cultism. Okay, let me share my screen right now. Cultism, that is the topic for week 8 and week 9. Okay, now before we go into details, let's quickly look at our that is objectives. That is what we are expected to learn at this time of this video. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to, one, explain the meaning of cultism. Two, I like the characteristics of cult groups. Three, I like the different cult groups and their symbols. But four, discuss history of cultism. Five, I like the reasons for establishing and joining cults. Number six, I like the consequences of cultism. Number seven, I like the preventive measures against cultism. And number eight, I like the government's efforts in preventing cultism. Now, let's go to what is the definition or the meaning of cultism. Cultism is a religious act generally considered to be in the extreme of falsehood. You know, it's been, those people that are involved are being referred to as extremists, and it's been done in a falsehood way. Its followers often live in unconventional manners under the guidance of an authoritarian leader, that is, a leader who commands authority. It is a religious act because its members worship their leaders and symbols with highest level of zeal. That is, their leader is their alpha and omega, and whatever he or she says, that's fine. You can even question their leader, and their symbols they take with high esteem, and that is high level of zeal. They are extremists because they equate their gods with God. They have some whatever thing which they believe in, which they serve, which they see as protection to themselves, and they see that to be equal to the God Almighty, and they can go to the extent to defend their cause. The leader of cults are usually unquestionable by the rest member of the cult. Hence, their ways of life are different from other non-cult members. That is, the way a cult member will behave is actually far, far different from the way a non-cult member will behave. So, cultism is also a movement of young boys and girls that represent new, different, and independent belief that uses violence to terrorize others and protect their brotherhood. That is, everything they do is always on violence. Everything they do is with violence, not to intimidate or terrorize others, and sometimes they do this to protect their brotherhood. When they say brotherhood, it means they are members. Okay, thus young undergraduates who are cult members terrorize members of other cult groups, leading to violence, clashes in various tertiary institutions. And when we talk about tertiary institutions, we're talking about college of education, we're talking about polytechnic, we're talking about universities. And most of these cult members, they terrorize other cult members. That is cult group versus cult group, because there are always several, or should I say, different cult groups in different universities, or should I just use tertiary institutions. So as a result of this, it causes a lot of clashes and it brings a lot of violence. And they also intimidate non-cult members. Those who are not members, what they do is to bully them is to intimidate them, is to, terrorize them, to make them feel, to feel so low, to feel like nobody. Cultism is evil. It is an ungodly practice used to derail young boys and girls who are just gaining independence from their immediate family or homes. You know, mostly, normally, if you are leaving the house for a tertiary institution, especially when your institution is actually far away from somebody that is parents, his or her parents are residing in Lagos, and if such person got an admission in Delta State, for example, it's not possible for such person to be going from us. You have to relocate to the school, and as a result of that, that is the level of independence. And if care is not taken, some of them do abuse such freedom and independence. Cultism can be defined as a ritual practice by young boys and girls whose membership, admission, policy initiation, and modes of operation generally are done in secret and kept in secret, with their attributes having negative impact on the society at large. I need to let you know that cult group, another name or another term that you can use for cult group is secret society. And the word secret is actually the major thing there. Everything they do it in secret, except you are a member of such cult group. That's when you can know what they're actually doing in such group. Every ritual, when they are doing their initiation, the way they operate is being done in secret. And let me tell you, all the attributes are usually bringing negative effects, negative impact on society at large. Now, moving on from there to the characteristics of cult groups, that is the kind of things that you see on the cult member or a cult group at large, the kind of things which they do most of the time. Number one, new members are initiated secretly. That is, both old and new members perform rituals in secrecy. That is, normally anything that is being done in secrecy, that means that you're not actually proud of it. So that is one of the things which they do. They initiate their member in secret. Second one there, they have signs, symbols, and passwords which are meant to be used and recognized by members only. While initiating their members, they teach them their signs, symbols, and passwords. They have different meaning for different things. You might just be joking with some certain number, maybe like 2, 7, 1, 4, or whatever. I'm just using my own word, my own figures. And as a result of that, to them, it means something. Every number, every sign has different meaning to different cult group. Number 3, they assist one another in all situations and promote members' interest, not minding the merits, fairness, legitimacy, reason, or appropriateness. In the sense that maybe one of the cult member is being, just call on their member that they should come to so location. Maybe such person actually, maybe for example, a boy asking a girl out, and the girl doesn't want to, agree with terms with the boy could just call his cult group in order to deal with the girl. The cult members will not even ask what the girl had done, or if what he's doing is right or not. So he's not minding maybe what he's doing is on merit, or if it's fair, or it is legal, or rather it is even appropriate. They just follow the last order, and they do this in order to bring more members to themselves, to fool some of the young youth out there to think they can hide under cult group for protection. Number 4, members seem to be kind, civil, and generous, but they are deceitful, hypocritical, because while pretending to be, and they can become violent and deadly. You see, or let me just say, a larger percentage of cult members are violent and deadly. You could see that they could be so cool, so kind, so generous, all that are just some of their antics, some of their tricks. They are so deceitful. They will find a way to bring you closer. You feel so you feel along with them. And as a result of that, when you see the violent part of them, you'll be so amazed, and they could be deadly. They can kill anybody, no matter how close you are to them. If you go beyond your boundary, you can be killed. So that's why you have to move away from any cult members that you know. Okay. The next one there, each group is extremely hostile towards members of rival groups, in the sense that every cult groups are rival to each other, because they all want to be the head of the town, or the one in control of the university or the tertiary institution. Another one there is that they carry arms of different kind, which they stick in their pockets or bags. That is, they go about with different weapons, deadly weapons, like machetes, gun, knife, you know, or axe, name it. They go about with that. Not to what to them they see it as protection. All right. Another characteristic of a cult group is members wear expensive clothes. They are bold and daring. They love to enforce their will when dealing with other people. And as a result of so, most of them, you know, due to the fact that they engage in a lot of criminal activities, they get paid in that, and you know, they love to enforce their own will. Either you want it that way or not, whatever they want is what they want to enforce on everybody, which is very wrong. Another one is that they are heavy customers of alcohol, tobacco, and hard drugs. It's very rare for you to see a cult member that doesn't drink alcohol, or doesn't smoke tobacco, or take any other hard drugs. The main members love to be seen in the midst of ladies, and as a result of that, they will always want ladies to be around them and flex and live their life. The group exhibits excessive zealousness and unquestioning commitment to its leader. As a result of this, they are so much committed to their leader, and they can't question their leader. If the leader say, go and kill yourself, and then they will have usually they will go and kill themselves. It's very funny, you know. Leadership dictates in great details how members should think, act, feel, to the extent that they prescribe the kind of color of clothes to wear. That is, you see most of them, you see them wearing same color, maybe blue, black, yellow, red, and so on and so forth. You know, so members doesn't have the mind of their own. They can't think for themselves, and they can't even make suggestions when they are to act on a particular issue. The leader dictates for everything for them. Another one there is that the group is preoccupied with making money. Hence, they can go to any extent, such as engaging in hard assassin, armed robbery, and so on, kidnapping, prostitution, and a lot of that. They do all these things now to do what? Make money, now to live the kind of life they want for themselves. And another one there, I think that's the last one I have here. Members are encouraged to live and socialize with only members that are group members who happen to be, that is, those who happen to be our members. Can only be friends with the members of the cult group. They can't be friends with any other person. Even if they are friends with any non-cult group, they'll be looking for ways to bring such person to their clique, so that the person can also be a cult member. Now, all these are the characteristics that you see, or features you see on any cult member. Now, moving on from there, everybody needs to listen right now, because this subtopic is very, very important. You need to know, because I know very soon you guys will be leaving a secondary school to a tertiary institution. So you need to be aware of cult groups that we have and their symbols. So I'm going to be dishing them out one after the other. So you have to you have to be attentive, so that you can actually have this at a long in your long memory. So we need to know that there are several cult groups across our tertiary institution today. The groups are not restricted to male. We also have female cult group members. And some of these, the popular groups with their symbol are as follows. Number one, Black Ass Confraternity. We have Black Ass Confraternity, also known as New Black Movement of Africa. This Black Arts was originated from University of Benin in the late 1970s. In the late 1970s, its signal is an upright axe with a wild blade, fixed on a short handle, and its motto is Aye Asman. When you hear people saying things like Aye Asman, you need to move away from such area because they can be so dangerous. Members of Black Arts confraternity, they wear black pants or trousers, long sleeve white shirts, and black coats. That is, when we say coats, those are that is always long like this, and a signal on the front, and black berets with yellow ribbon tied around them. They always wear, beret, that beret that is meant for female. They wear it, and there is always yellow ribbon tied around it. When you see anybody like that, just know that this person is a Black Arts confraternity member, or you call it a Ye code group. Another one is National Association of Cedaw, or you can also refer them to as Pirate Confraternity. Pirate Confraternity originated from the University College Ibadan. The University College Ibadan is now University of Ibadan. In 1952, it was founded by 7 members named Wole Soyinka, Ralph Okpara, House Olege, Ipehere Imogede, Nathaniel Oyelola, Olumuyiwa Awe, and Sylvanus U. Ugechi. The logo of Pirate Confraternity is skull positioned between 2 crossbones, skull and the 2 crossbones that stand something like this. And its color is red, black, and yellow. That is, they have this color that is actually them, which is color red, color black, color yellow, which are the kind of color of clothes which they wear. The philosophy of the Pirate Confraternity is to fight all social ills and conformity degradation within the society. I need to let you know that the main objective of founding this core group is not what we have right now. They were being put in place that to eradicate some social ills in the society, that is, favoritism, tribalism, and all that. And this group is actually based on intelligence. If you are not academically upright, you cannot be in this group. Anyways, I'm going to discuss more of that in the history. So let's just move on to other core groups. We also have another one here, National Association of Sea Lord, or Buccaneer Association of Nigeria, BN. Buccaneer was founded in 1972 by a member of the Pirate Confraternity named Bolaji Cree and others. It is structured, similar to the pirate. That is, most of what they do is so close to what they do in pirate, due to the fact that it was being expelled from Pirate Confraternity group. Its main color is yellow, which happens to be one of the color of pirates, and its members are called Alura Sea Lord. When you see gather a group of some boys or some girls saying Alura Sea Lord, that should tell you that is a core group and you should flee away from such environment. Moving on, we have National Association of Adventurers. These are also called Supreme Vikings Confraternity, SBC. And SBC was formed in 1982 by former members of Buccaneers at the University of Port Harcourt. It was in the past called COSA. So when you hear some maybe people are saying COSA, that should ring bells to you that is a core group. But recently his name has been changed again to Alpha Marine Patrol. Again, Alpha Marine Patrol. All these are also the same thing as National Association of Adventurers, the Vikings. Don't worry, I have some pictures down in this slide. I'm still going to show you so that you guys will actually see the logo of each of these core groups that we mentioned here. The other one is Association of Airlords, and is the Air Supreme Air Confraternity was formed in University of Ibadan. It was also affiliated to the Air Secret Society, then that is one of the society. The signal of Air Confraternity is double-headed phonics with a sword in its saloon. Now, all these there are many other code groups that we have today, but these are just the major ones which we can recognize that you can reckon with. Now, let's go straight to the details, that is the history of cultism. Okay, cultism is not a new thing in Africa. It is as old as the African cultures. But the practice of cultism on our tertiary institutions today is quite different from the way it is practiced in the larger society. That is the Ogbonis, the society cult group, where it's being practiced different from the way cult group is being practiced today. Without implying that cultism, whether on campus or in the large society, is good. We are not saying that it's good, but it is pertinent to state that cultism on our campuses is synonymous with violence, because now what they do is they are so violent. Everything about them is they do it with force, by violence. Even the acclaimed founding fathers of campus cultism in Nigeria could not even associate themselves with the current violent practices of cultism in Nigeria campuses. Cultism in Nigeria campuses can be traced to the formation of pirate confraternity, that is the National Association of Cedaw, in 1952 at the University College of Ibadan. That is the one that is now University of Ibadan. National Association of Cedaw was formed by Wole Soyinka, Ralph Pius Olege, Ipere Haij Imogede, Nathaniel Oyelola, Olumuyiwa Awe, and Stephenus U. Ugeche. Now, and this cult group has a very good objective, because their objective were to fight non-violently. Quote that. They are to fight what? Non-violently, but intellectually, that is making use of their brain, and effectively against the, now look at the conventions which they are actually being put in place, to effectively against the imposition of foreign conventions, to revive the age of chivalry, and to find a lasting solution to the problems of tribalism, elitism. And as a result of this, members of Cedaw then set high academic standards. That is, you have to, be so, you have to have a particular academic performance before you can join this group. That is, you must be brilliant. Brilliant set of people are members of the then, pirate confraternity. In the 1960s, a confraternity was formed in the University of Ibadan, but the expulsion of Bolaji Crew, from the pirate confraternity, for failure to meet expected standards, led to the formation of Buccaneers Confraternity, also known as National Association of Sea Lord. So it changed from Sea Dog to Sea Lord. Sea Lord is being largely they copied the Sea Dog structure, symbols, and ceremony. That is, everything they do is actually what they've been doing in the National Association of Sea Dogs. The Neo-Black movement, that is also called Black Ass, emerged from the University of Benin in 1983. Students at the University of Calabar formed the Eternal Fraternity Orders of the Legion Consortium, the Classmen Confraternity. You can see how the cult group were expanded from tertiary institution from one tertiary institution to another. The military rulers in the 1980s sponsored indirectly several cult groups on campuses in order to scuttle the cohesion of the members of the university staff and students who were the organized groups that were opposing military rule in Nigeria then. And as a result of this, also several vice chancellors has also employed cult groups in order to attack and silence some students perceived to be anti-authority, and they employed one cult group or the other to stabilize campaigns, elections for student governments, and so on and so forth. The practice got out of hand in 1999. That happened to be in the early part of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's tenure as civilian president, when cultists killed students at Obafemi Awolowo University, and this actually called serious attention to the case or issue of cultism in Nigeria. And in the early 2000s, all hands were on deck to curb the problem of cultism on our campuses. And as a result, several strategies were adopted, but the most rewarding strategy was the amnesty that was granted to the cultists, who renounced their membership publicly. With renunciation across several higher institutions, court clashes subsidized, and relative peace appeared on campuses. Although court clashes are not as rampant as it was in the late 90s, it has not been abated. But in fact, the dimension just introduced to cultism is residential neighborhood cultism, that is cultism within the neighborhood, within the community. It is not uncommon to find members of cult groups at various joints in town. Yes, you look at your community, you see them, mounting some junctions in 4s, in 6, in different numbers. The trend has even extended cultism to secondary school today. Yes, if you don't know, we have some cult groups that are in secondary school today, even some primary school. When I was serving, we had issues of some cult groups in the secondary school which I served. So that should tell you that I'm a living witness. I've seen them, I've seen cult groups being practiced in a secondary school. Now, moving on from there to reasons for establishing and joining cults. There are several reasons why students could join cult groups, and why I'm going to explain some of the reasons to you right now. The first one is home, and we all know that home is one of the foremost agents of socialization, and as a result of that, the home comprises of the parents who are the managers, and as a result of that, the actions of the children is a reflection of the habits of the parent. That is, whatever parents are doing at home, that's what the children will exhibit when they get to school. Parents whose children join cult groups in the higher institution oftentimes have learned secret-related attitude from their parents. That is, those parents who are actually doing things in secret. As a result of that, the children must have learned how to also do things in secret from there, and that's where it started. That's where how secrecy in a child starts, and that will make them to join cult group. Also, students whose parents enforce codes of good conduct and discipline do not usually join cult. That is, as a child, if your parents has actually enforced, discipline and good conduct in you right from childhood, it's so difficult for such person to join such bad gang as cult group. Another reason is influence of peer group. Peer group is another potent factor that influences students to join cult groups. And we all know that this reason is because students in higher institutions are adolescents who form habits mostly based on their peers. That is, most of what they exhibit are actually what they get from their peers. That the peers is talking about friends. In fact, the studies have indicated that as adolescents, students break the total reliance and contact with their parents and shift the same to the newly acquired group of friends. In most cases, is any group on campus which they embrace. That is the kind of set of people they meet on campus. They shift their attention, the closeness, the rapport which they used to have with their parents before to this set of friends, and they see those friends as family. And in other words, if the group they embrace is a dangerous group, they tend to join in their dangerous tendencies because they feel that is the best thing to do as at that time. Another one is social decadence. Our society today has not got its priority right. Attention is being misplaced, or where we have a community whereby attention is now being placed on material things, wealth, fame, and so on. Everybody wants to be wealthy. Everybody wants to have cars, houses, and many other things. So this is also another thing which is making some students join cult group whereby they want to have houses, they want to have cars, they want to have things They want to wear the latest clothes and all that. So moral and decent values are relegated, while immoral acts are being celebrated. Those who commit crime openly and blatantly are praised, while those who work honorably are made suffer indirectly. And all these account for why youth feel it is proper to join cult group and commit crime, because they know that when you commit crime with some set of people, you do it, what you've done, it will be forgotten, and they'll just find their way. And like for example, we have our politicians thing that they do some certain things, the issue will remain for a while before the case will be thrown away. So all these are social decadence that actually drawing the attention of the young youth or students to join cult group. Another point is commercialization and celebration of criminal cultists. Due to struggle for power among politicians, rich and influential politicians recruit cultists to terrorize and intimidate innocent citizens. Instead of they snatch ballot boxes for them during election. After that is thereafter, when their sponsors wins the election, they are granted good appointment. You can imagine somebody who happened to be a cult member, haven't helped a politician to get into power in one way or the other, and either finish the class or not even finishing school. It's so sure there's an assurance that appointment is waiting for me. Those are one of the boosting ego for them that make them to misbehave most of the time. So thus cultists become a role model to the young ones, because they feel either you're a cult member, you attend classes, or you do well, you are still going to get a good job. So this impression is actually making some young youth to see cult members as a role model. Another one is misplaced academic cultures. Our higher institutions today are being eroded of strong academic cultures. As a result of that, academics have misplaced politics for academic aspirates. That is, politics is now being taken as something important, while education that ought to be held so important is now being dropped, it's being trashed on the floor. And as a result of this, they employ cultists to feather their nest. Therefore, when lecturers who are supposed to discourage cultism ended up indulging them, non-cult members are easily lured to join. That did that tell you that some lecturers are even members of this cult groups we're talking about here. So as a result of that, people will feel, well, I think it's right for me to be a cult member. So it doesn't, they feel that's the right thing to do. So you just need to, focus on certain things in this country. So we all need to be careful, because they have a lot of tricks that can lure students to join cult group. Another one there is parents neglect. Most parents neglect their children as soon as they gain admission to higher institution. Hence, students on arrival to the university institution join groups such as cult groups. That is, as a parent, don't, even your children are not home again, that should mean you shouldn't have that close relationship that you usually have before with them. So neglect could make students join cult group. And then on social identity, some of them want to join cult group in order to be popular, to be social. They want to be regarded as the most powerful on campus. They want to be regarded as the most expensive and blah 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 like that. Cult members are usually known for being notorious. For people to yes, I'm the king of this food. I'm the king of this. I'm the so and the mistake of notoriety for fame is misconceived. As a result of this, students want to be social. They want to have to be known as leaders by force. So all these are one of the things that attract students to cult group. Another one is social security. Many students join cultism for security purposes. That is true. A lot of them join cult group in order to be because one person or the other is actually threatening them. So they are looking for somewhere they can actually get protection. They believe when they are members of cult groups, they are safe from all kinds of attacks from members of other groups. Whereas when there are other inter-cult clashes, it is members of other cult groups that are attacked. In other words, once a student joins any cult group, he or she is susceptible to cult attack. Yes, once you are a cult member, sure, you're going to be attacked one day. So you are subjected to attack. So if you are saying you want to join cult group so that you can be saved or you can be free from attack, that is even when it is more dangerous, because other cult groups, every cult group has their rival, and when the rivals come to attack, such person could be killed in the process. So another one here is inadequate religious and moral education. Moral and religious education assists students to learn the way of God and avoid unnecessary distraction. However, from primary through secondary school, moral and religious education is not even adequate, is not given adequate attention today. There was a case which we heard some times ago whereby a governor sacked teachers of religious subjects in primary and secondary schools. You can see such attitude shows the extent to which we underrate moral and religious education in educational system. And this could actually make students without religious education, to be easily convinced to join cult group. That is why you see most of them, they don't like to go to church. They don't go to church. They don't go to mosque. They are just there. So whatever they see, they believe. Whoever they like, they follow. So another one here is influence and new media. That is, new media are media of communication which are enhanced by information and communication technology. Let's talk about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and many other ones that you can think of. New media are pervasive today, and they are difficult to censor. Hence, they spread false information to their audience in order to brainwash them and encourage them to join cult groups. That is, when they are living like that, the sweet part of their group, they will be sending it to those friends that they want to invite, so that will be so enticed and be enthused that to join them, knowing that there are attacks and there are a lot of consequences behind it. There are typical examples of new medias, phones, internet, and so on. Cult group advertise their initiation on the internet. They mention names of high-powered individuals as members. That is, they mention those high people in the government. So this person is a cult member. So person is a cult member. That could even, give them interest. And as a result of this, they subject the audience to join cult groups. Now, we're going straight to the consequences of cultism. I've told you that cultism has a lot of consequences. Number one, killing of innocent stars. Due to a lot of, due to the activities of the members of cult group, several innocent lecturers, several students have lost their lives. But, we have a lot of instances, like you can see the one I put here, November 12, 2003, we have somebody, Tony Eleobuna, and several other people who happen to be acting head of Department of Geology at the University of Enugu, science that was not murdered. And there are a lot of people like that who has actually been killed due to the cases or clashes of cult members. Now, when the clean of innocent students, a lot of innocent students have been killed even in this process. But some cult group also have been killed. So don't say it's all those that are non-members that are being killed. Other people, cult members, a lot of cult members have been killed on this process. And as a result of this, when there is a clash of cult group, there's always destruction of academic calendar. Cult activities usually lead to death and destruction of several properties of the institution. And as a result of this, when they start the clashes, authorities of higher institutions usually suspend academic activities and under the closure of school. So such disrupts academic calendar. Therefore, students ends up spending several years for a program which could, they could have spent 3 or 4 years. Like for example, you see some people. You ask them, how many years do you use in investing? Ah man, my course was supposed to be 4 years, but I ended up using 6 years. And I ended up using 7 years due to court clashes and as a result of that, maybe 6 months might be taken away, 4 months might be taken away, and like that, before you know it, time is going. Another consequence is injury. Cultism leads to bodily harm that may result in permanent physical injuries. Also, as a result of the harmful drugs which cultists takes, some of them become mentally disturbed. Now mentally disturbed. When the clashes happen, sometimes there will be gun shooting, there will be machete, clashing. Some of them will be, you see them, some of them will not have arms again. Some of them, one of their ears would have been, you see them, some of them, see them with one from wound or the other. While some of them, they become mentally retarded due to the hard drug which they take. And this one is very, very, the next one, death. Untimely death is the end of the cultist. They die an awful death. It is either head, leg, and that are cut off. Some of them, their eyes are plugged out. So cultism is a waste of life. So you need to be very careful. No matter how they entice you, don't join any cult group, because cultism is a waste of life. At the end of the day, such person will still be killed. You can browse on internet to see a lot of cult members that has been killed, in the process of, joining the cult group. So you can do your own research. Cultism lead to death. So you need to know now, if you don't know. Now, another one is the expulsion or rustication. If a cult member is being caught, he is going to be expelled. And aside from that, many of them do spend more than a number of years, which they ought to use in running academic program. Another one is security threats. Due to the activities of the cultists and their sponsors who supply them with sophisticated weapons, there is high level of security threat on campus, because they have this, because they've helped one politician to get to snatch ballot boxes and all that. So those equipment will still be with them, and they will be making use of it on the campus to threaten and intimidate non-cult members. All this, is not right. So the courts also use their weapons to assassinate, rob, and rape students, which is not a good character of a patriotic Nigerian. Another consequence is that cultists are transformed into drug addicts. Most of them, they take, they are huge consumer of alcohol, cocaine, heroin, marijuana, Indian hemp, name it. They are always on drugs every time. That's one thing that make them to misbehave. That you think, they are feeling all right. They are not feeling all right at all. They are under the influence of alcohol, and as a result of that, it's turned them to be drug addicts, and they result to heart failure, death, or mental retardedness. Cultists exhibit a lot of bad habits, that is humanizing, idolatry, prostitution, name it. All these, you see them with cult members. Now, let's look at the preventive measures against cultism. That is, in the family, how we can prevent cultism. On the part of family, parents and students must do the following. That is number one, parents must give their children adequate moral and religious education, which will make them embrace God and shun cultism. There's no one who has ever embraced God, however, accept cultism. So, students, embrace God today and shun cultism. But two, parents must continue to monitor their children even when they have gained admission. Parents must form, they must always monitor their children, even, every time, every now and then they should be, giving a call to check on them and make sure they are doing fine. Parents must form a formidable parent association in order to collectively monitor the activities of the students, and management of the institute also do so. Parents should also show equal signs of love to all their children, because this, so as to prevent child that might perceive inadequate love and seeking love from wrong group of people, which could be called group. So parents, show love to your children equally. Parents should take time to ask from their children the challenges they face in their various institutions, and act promptly whenever the need arises. So be close to your children and make sure you ask them their challenges they are going through, and also what they need. Then another preventions from authority of higher institution, you know, management of higher institution must, mount vigorous campaign against cultism using various media like social media for the campaign, that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that, in order to campaign against cultism. And also another one is to maintain proper registration and documentation of various associations on campus, and their activities should be monitored. That is, all associations to be registered and their activities should also be looked into. There should be some sort of people who will be going about to monitor the activities of these groups on campus. Every higher institution must maintain a guidance and counseling unit within the student affairs section of the university. So with the guidance and counseling section put in place by the institution, it will help them, to help the university to be a better and a sanity place to stay. Management should not hesitate to punish promptly anybody caught involving in court group. That is why involving in court activities. That is why the school should, be strict with their punishment by expelling or, extending the years of such person in the university. Management should also admit the number of students which they can manage. See, some university or institutions, admit more than the kind of number of students they can manage. So all this, it could also be a factor of cultism. Then another one, management of our institution should provide adequate security to all parts of the campuses. And so doing that also can prevent us from having issues of cultism. Then from government, government must take eradication of cultism seriously by providing legislation to take care of the problem. Like, for example, punishment without option of fine should be given to cultists. Because if there's option of fine, though their backbone, their godfathers will pay the fine and they let them go scot-free, and they begin to wax stronger every day, thinking, yes, if I go there, I'll pay fine and come back. So there should be strict punishment. Maybe by now, any court member that is being caught should be killed. So as a result of that, nobody will want to be a court member again. That one is that government functionaries personnel must lead by example by discouraging cultism completely. They must shun corruption and punish corrupt government functionaries that refuse to desist. So government putting this in place will actually make the country to go forward. Government should ensure that higher institutions are adequately funded, because if they are adequately funded, they will do the right thing at the right time. Government agencies should set up their campaigns against cultism and its destructive tendency, that is also adding the punishment that is behind it, also the consequences. Now, the last subtopic here, government efforts in preventing cultism. That is what government has done so far in order to prevent cultism. Number one, enacting enabling laws prescribing cultism and other secret code. That is, they've enacted several laws in order to, to actually punish these cult members. I think now the law that has been made is that any cult member that is being caught, it should be killed. The newly admitted students are made to take oaths not to belong to any secret cult. Yes, that is being done regularly. They've been doing that a long time now. Expulsion of any student found to a member of secret cult from campuses. Yes, so these are the things that government have been doing so far before now on cult groups. Prosecution and sentencing of jail terms for those found guilty of any cult-related activities, public enlightenment campaign against cultism, constitutional provision prohibiting members of secret society from holding public office. Yes, those who have been found maybe in one way or another have been a cult member in the past should not be allowed to hold public offices. Public renunciation of membership of secret society, cultists encouraged by, not to encourage cult groups. So that as a result of this, cult members should renounce publicly so that they can be encouraged, but they can be given some money to start a new life. Introduction of civic education, which you're actually enjoying right now, is another social bias, in order to teach students on social biases and other immoral behaviors associated with cultism in school. So if you ask your parents that they didn't any subject like civic education when they were in school, there were nothing like that. So it was when this issue of cultism was becoming something serious, that was when and subject like civic education was brought into it. And mind you, that's why it's even a compulsory subject that every student need to be this citizen need to be educated on social biases in the society, and likewise in the schools. Then another one is government enhances security present in schools and colleges. If you go to any school, you see that every school has their own security and many more like that. Now, these are some of the pictures of some cult groups in Nigeria. This is the first one here. Is what is Aye. You can see my cursor. This is the logo of Aye. You can see Aye there. Aye Asman. You can see the has and the two chain. That's the logo of Aye. That is Black Ass Confraternity. And this one is the Buccaneer Confraternity. This is the logo here. See the skull and the bones and all that there. This is the logo for the Supreme Vikings Confraternity. And this is one for the Elod, the Aye, the Ayes. You can see their logo here. I shall have some other ones here. This is another cult group logo here. The Arrow is another cult group. This one is the National Association of the Cedaw. That is the Pirate Confraternity. And as a result of this, I need to tell you all that say no to cultism. What do I say? Say no to cultism. Say no to cultism. So I'm going to be stopping here. Thank you. My name is Mr. Faladin. I want you all to, take your time to watch this video. It's quite a long one. Make sure you listen to it from minute to minute, and I know you're going to you're going to be educated more than you were before. So this is the end of this video. So my students, bye for now.